Hi everyone, and welcome to Uncovered Vintage Fashion Magazine Review. I'm Stephanie, and I've been collecting and selling vintage fashion magazines for over 20 years.
And I'm Morley. I'm a former copywriter and am now an award-winning playwright and screenwriter.
Together, we will examine some of your favorite vintage fashion magazines from the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
On Uncovered, we'll discuss some of the magazine's models, layouts, and did I mention the models?
And we'll also review some of the ads and articles that make these magazines such a great piece of pop culture history. So, fasten your seatbelts and let's get uncovered. Hi guys, welcome to Uncovered Vintage Fashion Magazine Review, episode number 6.
Wow, can you believe that we're already on number 6? It just seemed like yesterday when you and I were talking about doing the podcast in the first place.
It really is unbelievable.
What's also unbelievable, though, is the positive feedback and the comments we've been getting on Twitter, on Facebook, by email about how much you seem to really enjoy the podcast.
Yes, thank you so very, very much. We really find it gratifying when we hear all of your positive feedback and comments about the podcast. It really makes it all worthwhile.
You know, at the end, we always say, tell 2 friends about it, and they'll tell 2 friends. Well, clearly you are, and we really appreciate that. And Steph, did you notice where we're getting a lot of the responses from?
All
where people
over
are listening?
the world.
Such as?
Singapore, France, Ireland,
Moscow, for example. Well, Moscow's not a country.
Philippines.
Exactly. Canada, U.S., Mexico,
Hello,
Germany.
New York. Hello, LA.
Yes, all over the world, literally. So thank you so much for listening and for mentioning it to 2 friends, 3 friends, 4 friends. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, Steph, let's get to the issue. What have we got today?
So, getting right into today's issue, we've got a fabulous issue for you today. It's Harper's Bazaar, April of 1985.
So, do you remember anything about 1985? Forget April, but how about 1985 in general?
I remember being in high school. So this is mid-80s, 1985. High school, teenage angst.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaking of teenage angst, one of the most popular songs at that time was Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds.
What a wonderful song.
And that seemed to be like it was in all of the 80s movies at the time, wasn't it?
It's sort of an 80s anthem, actually.
It really is.
Yes.
Another popular song at the time was We Are the World by USA for Africa.
A great song for an even better cause.
It was a fantastic cause.
Yes.
Did you have any favorite singers or performers from that song?
Too many to mention. Michael Jackson.
Michael
Definitely.
Jackson. So many great performers. Paul Simon. Ray Charles was on that song, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He was great.
Cyndi Lauper was on that song.
Oh, she was tremendous.
So many.
So it was really great.
Diana
I love the song.
Ross.
Absolutely.
We could go on and on.
We
This
could
is
go
a
on
half-hour show.
That's
so.
right. Another great song was The Old Man Down the Road. Now, in 1985 is when I first entered university. I did the winter-summer program, so in April of 1985, I would have been just getting into my university career. And I remember I was playing pinball in one of the games rooms in university, and this song came on the road. Song came on the intercom. And I was intrigued by it because I didn't recognize it as a CCR song, Creedence Clearwater Revival, which John Fogerty used to be the lead singer from. And I thought, that's an interesting song. I never heard it before, and I later learned, of course, that it was from his new album, Centerfield. And really, really excited, and Centerfield was another great song off the album. Also in 1985, some really famous books came out. So you had The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood.
Great Canadian author.
And, of course, that book was later turned into a very successful miniseries on Netflix. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. A little self-promotion here. As you know, I wrote a play a few years ago called Love in the Time of Tourette's, and I wonder where I got that title from. Also, Lonesome Dove came out by Larry McMurtry, and again, another very, very successful TV miniseries starring Robert Duvall, among many others. Some of the films that came out around that time were European Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Holiday Road.
Did you ever see that movie?
Many times.
Yeah, I've seen all the...
Hilarious.
Yeah, I've seen all the National Lampoon Vacation movies. They are classics. A Room with a View came out. Lady Hawk, which of course was named after Ethan's mother. And also Witness. With Harrison Ford, very famous movie, Kelly McGillis, I believe, as well. So, Steph, why don't we talk about the issue and what's in it?
Okay, so as I said, we have a great issue for you guys today. Harper's Bazaar, April 1985. Cover model is beautiful Renee Simonsen. Photo is Francesco Scavullo. Hair by Nancy Smith. and makeup by Bandy. The fashion that she's wearing is by Calvin Klein, and it's a white silk organza long-sleeve wrap blouse.
Organza. So this is another word that you're making up, like poplin, right? No?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So organza, what exactly is organza?
It's a fabric.
Okay.
It's sort of a sheer...
Okay, so we're not going to go into a store, and we're not going to say to the salesperson, do you have any organza? Because they won't have any clue what we're talking about, and they'll probably throw us out.
Of course they will.
Really?
It's very prevalent in evening wear. It's silk organza. Yes.
Oh, silk organza. Okay.
Yes.
There you have it, folks. So again, my wife, who says she's not making up stuff, says organza is a fabric, sort of like the hammered purple, whatever that is. So hammered silk, that's what it was.
Okay, Morley. Moving right along. So I'm just going to read you some headlines from the cover. You looking super.
Oh, thanks. Oh,
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Cover.
Sex hang-ups and breast cancer. The best money-saving style. Cellulite-free in 2 weeks. Thin thighs without moving a muscle.
Love that.
Can I just say sign me up?
Yeah.
For that one. Hotshot accessories. 100 fast look changers. Special alert. Your complete guide to self-defense, which is, as an aside, very important for everyone to know.
Mm-hmm.
And last but not least, summer update. 75 all-out fashion finds. Wild, wonderful, wearable. $10 and up.
Again, sign me up, of course, but now it's probably $100 and up.
Yeah, honestly. So on the covers, inside in the on the cover section, I just wanted to mention that they give credit to Calvin Klein's Obsession fragrance, which had just launched in 1985.
Right, because of course she's wearing it, and nope, don't smell it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a thinly veiled ad, as you just figured out.
Right.
But if there's a fragrance of the mid-'80s, this is definitely one of them.
Now, wonder why Harper's Bazaar or Vogue didn't come up with like the scratch and sniff covers? That would have been cool. So they could have had Obsession, or they're advertising the latest perfume or cologne. You could have, a little scratch.
Interesting idea. Vogue, Are you listening?
There you go. Hello,
Okay.
Cosmo. Go on.
So I just actually wanted to talk a little bit about Renee Toft Simonson, our beautiful cover model.
Renee Toft Simonson. Okay.
That is her full name.
Toft. Okay. Is that short for like Tofty, or is... Okay, I've never heard the name.
I doubt it. Okay. I doubt it.
Okay, go on.
I don't know. You have to ask her.
Okay.
So Renee Simonson is a Danish model. She was discovered in Denmark when she was just 15 years old. Okay?
Okay.
And Eileen Ford, maybe some of you have heard of Eileen Ford. She is the co-founder, along with her husband, of Ford Model Agencies. Very huge, prominent agency and still around today. So back then, Eileen Ford, back in 1980, established this modeling contest called Face of the 80s. It's now called Supermodel of the World.
So it's still around.
It's still around.
Okay.
So Renee won the contest in Denmark and then went on to compete in the U.S., and she won in 1982 when she was 17 years old.
Great. So you just gave away her age. That's nice. A woman likes to keep her age secrets. Everyone knows. Okay. So she's born in 65, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Renee. So, by the way, Renee has said that Lee Majors hosted the show and Irene Cara sang there.
Wow. So
Remember
I wonder if
Irene
she's saying
Cara?
fame.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to read you a quote actually from Renee Simonson.
Renee Toft Simonson?
Right. And
okay.
what she said was, I think I was kind of like the Christy Brinkley type. I had broad shoulders, I was healthy and sporty looking, and a little bit sexy.
I didn't know that Christy Brinkley had broad shoulders.
I don't know.
I guess she
so.
have.
I
Okay.
guess she's
Well, she would know her better than us.
In the modeling world to have broad shoulders? I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, she would know her better than us.
I guess what she's kind of saying is, this is not a waif look.
Right.
You know?
Okay. When did she do her first American Vogue?
So Renee's first American Vogue cover was in April of 1983. She was on another cover that same year, as well as 3 covers for German Vogue. And also she was on the cover of a Roxy Music album entitled The Atlantic Years.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's a stunning photo.
Wow, Brian Ferry from Roxy Music, was he not?
Yes.
Okay.
He was. So Renee dated John Taylor of Duran Duran. You may or may not know that. They broke up in 1989. This was around the time that she stopped modeling.
Do you think there's any correlation between breaking up with that? And
Definitely. Actually, she said it was one of the stresses that she went through at that time. She said that she left the industry due to overwork. She had already been working for 7 years. And at that age, that's really a lot.
It really is.
And also stress due to her relationship. And I'm not going to go into the stressors, but John Taylor's actually written, she makes reference to his autobiography. So he's admitted to a few things that were going on at that time.
Wow, okay. That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah. So Renee began to suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, and she's very open about going to seek help from a psychologist, which I really respect a lot about her.
Definitely.
So after she left the industry, she went to live in Israel on a kibbutz. I believe she was with her sister.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. Then she completed her baccalaureate and studied child psychology.
Well, that makes total sense because you figure that she has so much experience with a psychologist and dealing with trauma, probably.
Absolutely.
This is interest for her. So to her credit, that's great.
For sure. Actually, she said that she was offered to go on to a PhD, but she instead decided to start a family, and that's what she's done. So she's now married to a musician-songwriter by the name of Thomas Helmig. And by the way, what is it with models and musicians?
Well, I think in a lot of cases, musicians hire models for their videos. So it kind of makes sense that they come into their general stratosphere and they start dating.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
And she's got 4 children. And also, she's a writer. And I've actually read that she's written for an advice column, which goes back to her psychology, her experience in psychology.
Well, this is great. I mean, hearing stories like this are very heartwarming, where you have a model who decided to focus on other things. They realized they didn't want to model for the rest of their lives. And what do they do?
And also, by the way, I'm just going to interject because
Sure.
I also read that she's written several children's books and a biography.
Yeah, that's just great. I mean, this is a real success story, not just in modeling, but outside of the modeling world as well. So, hats off to her.
Yeah, and it's also the fact of being 15 years old, for example, in 1985, and also the fact of someone looking at this cover back in 1985, being a teenager, possibly looking at it and thinking, this person's got a perfect life because she's on the cover of a magazine. And in fact, that's not the case, and that's never the case. You never know what someone is going through.
Well,
and she is an example.
Yeah, it just goes to show that you can't really judge a book or judge someone until you've walked a mile in their soul.
Exactly.
Great.
And she's overcome a lot, so good for her.
Excellent. So I want to draw your attention to pages 16 and 17. It's a double page spread. It's for an ad for Clinique. Clinique Clarifying Lotion and Clinique Moisturizing Lotion and Clinique, what is this one here?
It's a soap.
Thank
It's
you.
a bar of soap.
Okay, I don't use soap. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a double page spread. And on the left-hand side, there's a picture of a toothbrush and a glass cup. On the other side, of course, is all the different varieties of the Clinique. And the headline on both pages says twice a day, period. Meaning you brush your teeth twice a day, and you use the Clinique soap, the clarifying lotion too, and the moisturizing lotion too, twice a day. I thought it was very clever. I think it's a very powerful image because you want to get into the mindset that you brush your teeth twice a day, you use Clinique twice a day.
Yeah, well, what they're really saying is this is a need. This is essential.
Right.
Which I would agree with. Skincare is essential.
It really is. And that's why I think it's a very powerful image. I mean, all you have on that left-hand side of the page is just the glass with the toothbrush. That's it. There's nothing else except for the headline twice a day. And it makes you realize, hey, I got to brush my teeth twice a day. So you're drawing the conclusion, of course, that brushing your teeth twice a day and you got to use a Clinique, they're both the same thing. Anyways, I don't want to spend more time on that. I just thought it was very clever, but simple.
Yes, I have to agree. And the product line is sort of simple packaging, very clean. The name is Clinique. It's a very, very powerful ad, for sure.
I love it.
Excellent. So now we come to page 184, and it's a layout. The title is Hot Shot Pearls and White Leather. It's a 6-page layout. The model is Kirsten Allen. Photography by Mike Reinhardt. Hair and makeup by Barbara Farman. And I'm just going to read you the caption. Says, gleaming pearls at the wrist, neck, or as earrings are the accessory of choice this season. They're especially racy, paired with the exciting new white leather jackets, dresses, and suits on these 6 pages. So, as the caption says, this is white leather apparel with pearls. So it's sort of a contrast. You saw pearls earlier on the cover, so pearls very much in style. And not just pearls, but oversized pearls. Here, the model, Kirsten Allen, she's wearing several strands of pearls.
Looks great. It's a really interesting look because you have her on a motorcycle, which you associate with tough, and then you have the pearls, which you associate with being very elegant and classy.
Yes, it's that dichotomy.
I love that stuff.
It's all about.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Just to let you all know, the location of the shoot was Villa Nirvana in Acapulco, Mexico.
Nice.
I actually looked them up to see if they're still around. They are. This hotel is still in operation, and it's a 4.5-star hotel.
Okay, there you go.
Not that anyone's traveling at the moment.
No, definitely not, but it sounds
due to the
great.
pandemic, but yes. So again, the first photo, Kirsten Allen's on a motorcycle wearing Steven Sprouse, black and white. It's a graffiti sequin top, leather coat, and silk mini skirt. Now, if you were around in the 80s, you have heard the name Steven Sprouse. He was known as fashion's bad boy. He began his career at 14 years old by interning for Bill Blass. Then he worked as Halston's assistant for 3 years.
But at the time, he was known as fashion's bad kid, right?
I think he was already the bad boy.
Okay, got it.
Yes. He began to work in commercial fashion design in 1983, so that's 2 years before this issue came out. He had entered a fashion show competition at the suggestion of his friend. Maybe some of you have heard of the photographer Steven Meisel. So Steven Sprouse's MO was graffiti printed apparel for men and women. His first collections between 1983 and 1985 were extremely popular.
I can see why. I love this shirt. In fact, if they sold this today and for men, I would buy it in a second.
Oh yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, it really is.
It looks great.
Yep.
So his designs were only sold in the finest stores, and he really brought, I want to say that he really did bring street chic uptown.
Now I haven't heard this term before. Is this like your term, like street theater that you came up with before? Or is
no,
this
is street chic.
I like that term though.
So believe it or not, in 1986, unfortunately, Sprouse declared bankruptcy. He's described the bankruptcy as, and I'm going to quote him here, "I suddenly had a house with no firm foundation."
That says a lot right there.
So although his designs were very highly praised by Vogue and Women's Wear Daily and Harper's Bazaar, the stores were claiming that his merchandise was improperly produced or received late.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So some sort of probably supply chain issues, I guess.
Sounds like it. I don't really know the full story, but sounds like that, yes. So he actually found a new backer back in 1987, and he resumed designing, which is great.
Is he still designing today?
He's actually passed away.
Okay.
He passed away in 2004. Unfortunately, he was only 50 years old.
That is a shame.
Okay.
But does the brand still live on today, do you know?
He has a website. So
okay, great.
I don't know if they're still designing, but there is a website.
That's great.
So I would encourage anyone to check it out. So more recently, Sprouse has had popular collaborations over the years with Keith Haring, Marc Jacobs, Diesel, and Louis Vuitton. He has designed clothing for musicians such as Debbie Harry, Duran Duran, and Billy Idol.
Wow, that's perfect.
And this is one that you'll like, Morley, because in 1995, he was actually the costume curator for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow.
In Cleveland that we visited a few years ago.
That's right. That was a great experience.
Yes.
That's neat.
And he had designed the employees' uniforms. So back to this layout. So she's wearing Steven Sprouse. Kirsten Allen's shown on a motorcycle. Beautiful photo. She looks beautifully rebellious.
Yeah, that's a great term. Beautifully rebellious.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
I doubt that I made that one up either, but...
But it is a great term, though, and that's a perfect way to describe her.
Yeah. Thank you. And on the facing page, she's wearing a white leather jacket, but this one is with a large scarlet red eagle stitched on the back. The designer is Claude Montana, and it also looks very, very cool.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
Great job. Yeah, I mean, again, if I saw something like this in today's stores, I would consider getting it.
So, April 1985, white leather with pearls, very, very much in style.
Great.
Moving along.
I want to draw everyone's attention now to pages 20 to 21. So there's, again, another double page layout spread. This is for a product called Ultimate 2. It says CHR Pro Collagen Anti-Aging Complex. On the left-hand side, there's a picture of 3 women of different ages. On the left, you have, quote-unquote, Aunt Nancy. In the middle, you have Barbara Alexis. And on the right-hand side, Kim Alexis. So Kim Alexis was approximately 25 in this picture. That's her mother and allegedly her aunt, although aunt is in quotations. And on the right-hand side, it talks about how at age 20, even skin in the bloom of youth isn't exempt from the effects of aging. And then at age 40, 40, the age of enlightenment, new pro-cult. And then finally it says age 60. 60 isn't what it used to be in this new age of alternatives. And so it talks about how really Ultima 2 is great for any age, 20, 40, or 60. And I just thought it was really nice showing the Alexis family, although I don't know who Aunt Nancy is.
I don't know how much family they really are.
Yeah, but it's just really great. And I love the fact that they're showing how this particular product is really good for practically any age as you age. So it really caught my attention. It's in black and white, very classy. I don't know who the photographer was or makeup and all that, but I just really love the ad.
So I remember this ad very well.
Oh, okay.
From the 80s. And I think it's a really very effective ad. You're showing 3 generations of a family.
Yeah, the
allegedly.
Alexis. Yeah, exactly.
We don't know. But they're all beautiful. They all have beautiful skin. And they're not saying that you should try to look 20 when you're 40 or 60. They're saying you should try and look your best at any age. And I think that's a great message even today.
It's a very powerful message, I think, today.
So I think that's a fantastic ad.
Yes. And the actual headline, if you will, on the second page, it says, Ultima 2 introduces Pro Collagen in an unprecedented anti-aging complex that offers opportunity and hope for skin of any age, which is really the message. Anyway, I don't want to go on too much about it, but I really liked it. I thought it was very clever.
Great ad. So now we come to a layout on page 194, and it's entitled Diamonds and Denim. And I will read you the caption. Eccentric, perhaps. Unexpected, probably. Exciting, absolutely. The new anything goes attitude decrees that today's updated denims look their best paired with diamonds, real or not. Go for it on these 8 pages. So this is a gorgeous layout. The models are Renee Simonsen and Kirsten Allen. Photographer is Tony McGee, with hair by Howard Fugler and makeup by Jacqui Lefton. I just want to talk about this first photo. Now, I had said that the model is Kirsten Allen, but she looks a little bit different on this first page. Her hair looks red. And she's featured very prominently in this issue, and her hair is black or dark. Okay, so I had a really hard time identifying the model. I believe it is Kirsten Allen. If anyone out there has access to this issue, I would love for them to have a look and correct me if I'm wrong. But to me, Kirsten Allen's a bit of a chameleon as a model. She can look very different in different hair, makeup, and clothing. So when her hair's worn short and dark, she can look very punk chic, as she does in this issue. When her hair is long, she looks very bombshell glamorous, and this versatility is to me the mark of an excellent model. So I was actually hoping to talk a little bit more about Kirsten Allen, but I could not find any information on her. So if anyone's got any information about this amazing model, we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to email us at uncoveredpodcast@yahoo.com. We're also available on Instagram, and our handle is uncovered_VFMR.
You can also find us on Twitter at UncoveredVFMR. And we also have our own Facebook page too, which of course is Uncovered Vintage Fashion Magazine Review.
So moving along with this layout entitled Diamonds and Denim, the models are dressed in casual wear accessorized with diamonds or costume diamonds. Jewelry is bold and worn in different ways as necklaces, brooches, earrings. On the first page, the model's wearing a lilac patch-pocketed big shirt, and I'm quoting, they're calling it a big shirt, one word, belted by 2 pink belts with rhinestone studs, and a shirt jacket worn on top, also in lilac, and of course, jewelry. Very beautiful. She's wearing a hat sort of tipped off to the side, sort of French-inspired, I guess.
It almost looks a little bit like Annie Hall in some ways. I believe Diane Keaton wore a hat very similar.
It does. And she's wearing these 2 pink belts. But I can remember in the 80s that the wraparound belts, the long belts that used to wrap around twice were very, very popular and prevalent. And that sort of reminds me of that.
The very thin ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the facing page, we're looking at Renee Simonsen. And her hair is styled in a faux mohawk with the bangs gelled straight up. It's a very cool look.
That's a great look for her.
Yeah. And also, we know that she's got long hair. So they've made it sort of look punk.
Excellent.
As was the style. And she's leaping in the air wearing this military-style sky blue big shirt. Same word again, big shirt. Now you can say that they're making up words.
Right, I think so.
And white silk pants with a diamond necklace. So wrapping up this layout, it's overall a stunning layout. I particularly liked page 198, and I'll show you what it is, Morley.
Okay. And we'll tell our listeners what it is, too.
This photo is very, very cool. So Kirsten Allen is wearing diamond-encrusted sunglasses with diamond cuff bracelets on each wrist. Sort of very Wonder Woman inspired, and large diamond earrings with a lime green shirt and black denim motorcycle jacket. So she looks cool and chic.
The only thing I don't like about this is that she has this chain on her glasses. And I always associate that with people who are older who don't want to lose their glasses. Like my father used to have that.
You're right.
So
right.
It's kind of interesting. You never want to lose your glasses. So you always see the glasses, hanging down on the chain down your on your chest. So I thought that's a little interesting.
But they're made of diamonds or faux diamonds, and they're just trying to show the fashion of jewelry.
It is cool, but whenever I see that, the glasses on the chain or the glasses on the shoelace, I always think of it as being associated with older people. Like, where are my glasses? Oh, they're on my chest.
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Exactly.
So some of the designers included in this layout are Tomorrow's Surplus, Screaming Mimi's, Girbaud, M&J Savitt, Calvin Klein, Cartier, Alexis Kirk, Krizia, Stanley Korshak, Guess, and many others. So fantastic layout, a lot of action. Clothing is very, very 80s, I would say.
Yeah, but I think they're still, maybe in style today. I mean, especially the jean jackets. A lot of people wear them.
A lot of jewelry, a lot of oversized jewelry. And again, it's the contrast between the casual worn with elegant jewelry and the toughness of denim together with the
chic of the jewelry.
Exactly.
And this is just around the time where punk rock was kind of ending its reign, because punk, as you know, was really big in the 70s, the mid to late 70s, and it started to slowly lose its luster in the 80s. So this is kind of like the last vestige of punk, if you will.
Yeah, it sort of had a resurgence. I can remember people in high school walking around with these big mohawks. So
yeah.
It did kind of have a resurgence. But
it does, from time to time. I think of Billy Idol, I think of Debbie Harry, and think of some of the others.
Yep, so that just about wraps up Diamonds and Denim.
The last thing I want to talk about is on page 191. There's a little article at the bottom of the page. It says, Tommy kicks into high gear. The Tommy they're referring to is Tommy Tune. So for those of you who are very familiar with Broadway and what was going on at the time, Tommy Tune is your classic song and dance man. He's been around forever. He's been in more musicals than I can count. I think he started in Hello Dolly with Hello Dolly. He's been around a lot. So they're talking about some of the shows he's been in, Anything Goes, etc. He's an award-winning choreographer. He's also, of course, a singer, director, you name it, he's done it as far as Broadway musicals. Some people may confuse him with Tommy Two-Tone, who, of course, was known for 867-5309.
Right, Jenny. But Tommy Tune is what I think of often when I think of Broadway. And what's interesting, too, is with a name like Tommy Tune, who's into Broadway musicals, you'd think that is just a stage name. It's his real name. Is that right?
It's his real
amazing.
Name. I mean, talk about, it's sort of like if your name was Ed Farmer and you grew up being a farmer.
Meant to be.
It really was meant to be. Now, of course, we want to make sure that we don't mistake him for his sister Carla, or sometimes he'd call her Car or Cartoon. And no, I'm just making that up. He doesn't.
I hope so.
Exactly. But anyway, I love Tommy Tune. And just really a class act, both on and off the stage. And that's what I really love about these vintage fashion magazines. You'll never know what you'll find. And the fact that they have something about Tommy Tune is just great.
Something for everyone.
There really is something for everyone. And as someone who loves Broadway musicals as much as I do, this is like a nice hidden gem.
So now we come to page 227. It's a layout entitled Paris, A Color Explosion, Unique Fabric Treatments, Skin Bearing for Night. And the caption reads, the French designers are feeling young at heart, and that means a couture season with more dash and daring than ever. Unusual shadings, 1, 2, 3 in combination, mixtures of fabrics that are purely ingenious, a strapless silhouette that takes bareness to new realms on these 8 pages. And so the models are Gail Elliot and others, photography by Tony McGee, hair by Nicky Clarke, and makeup by Jacqui Lefton. And so the models in this layout are wearing evening wear, and as they said, they're combining unusual colors and fabrics in each outfit. So the clothing is opulent. I'm going to show you, Morley, one outfit worn by Gail Elliot. Now, Gail Elliott's a British model. Okay.
Very exotic looking.
She is. On page 228, and the outfit's described as leather and taffeta with a column of mousseline, silk, organza.
Sorry, mousseline?
Yes.
Is that stuff you put in your hair?
So mousseline is actually a fabric that I had to look up.
Okay, good.
And they said that it's similar to muslin.
To what?
Muslin.
Okay.
You can Google it after the show.
How do you spell muslin?
Muslin.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along. Taffeta with a column of mousseline, silk, organza, sequins, and beads. So it's a hodgepodge. Gail Elliot on page 229, here is wearing a white ruffled dress with a mustard yellow leather jacket.
Yeah, it looks very interesting, but when I see the ruffles, you know what it really reminds me of?
Of what?
It reminds me of when you open a box of chocolates and you take out those little truffles and what are you left with the papers? It looks exactly like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what they're talking about here is just wearing something like a leather jacket or coat over evening wear. It's a little bit unusual.
Yes, that is unusual.
Yes. The fashions are in pastels and brights with lots of beading. No black, which is very common in evening wear. No black to be seen.
I mean, if I were to wear something like that, I think I'd probably take a beating. Go on.
Oh my goodness. Hemlines are longer, and the tops are either strapless or have large shoulder pads. Like, check this out.
Right.
Remember those shoulder pads?
Of course I do, yes. They were really coming, I guess, into fashion back then.
Yes. And these are all European designers. Some of the designers mentioned are Marc Bowen for Christian Dior, Karl Lagerfeld for Chanel, Emanuel Ungaro, Valentino, and Yves Saint Laurent.
Great.
Yes. So this is a gorgeous looking layout. I love it. It's very different.
I love the photography, by the way.
Yeah, isn't it great?
Yeah, I love the filters they used, the shadows. It's really great lighting, too.
It's beautiful. The models are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hair and makeup.
I just wish they would show also, in addition to who the models are and photographers, maybe who does the lighting. I think they should get some credit, too. They did a fantastic job.
Well, you know what I wish they would share? Is who does the styling.
Right.
I think the stylists were instrumental to these photos, and I wish they would have shared the names.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is one of the reasons why we started Uncovered Vintage Fashion Magazine Review. It's not just about the models, but some of the people, again, behind the scenes who make them look so fantastic, like the photographers, like the hairstylists, like the makeup people. And we can go further by even saying the people who did the set design themselves.
Yes, and they should really get the recognition that they deserve.
Absolutely.
For sure.
They are some of the unsung heroes.
And by the way, guys, this magazine and other vintage fashion magazines are available in my stores. My store name is GR8 MAGZ. That's Great Mags, and I'm on Etsy and on eBay.
Perfect.
Okay, so I think that just about wraps up our episode today.
Thanks again for listening. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Uncovered Vintage Fashion Magazine Review Podcast.
Uncovered was produced by Morley Schulman, with music by David Renda and logo design by Alan Lipman.
So remember, if you liked Uncovered, be sure to tell 2 friends about it.
And they'll tell 2 friends.
And so on, and so on, and so on.